Hello and welcome back to NoBS. Today we return to talking about Chicago, Illinois, or more specifically, we're talking about their terrible leader and mayor there, named Mayor Lori Lightfoot. Lori Lightfoot has had some pretty interesting stories over the last few weeks and over the summer. Actually, ever since she got elected, people have been questioning her, as they should. She's running one of the most dangerous cities in our country, also the third biggest and one of the places that has more murders than anyone else. Yeah, there's people dying in droves in Chicago. It's really tragic and you hate to see it, but at the same time, it is due to large in part because they're electing all these Democratic leaders who won't help there. They're actually making things worse. And that's why the city has gotten worse year after year under this terrible Democratic leadership. Now, are the Democrats the ones going out in the streets and making these violent things happen? Not specifically, not always. I mean, the people in the streets are typically liberals. They are Biden supporters. They're not conservative people in the gangs. These people are all black, longtime Democrats who probably don't vote or can't vote because they have priors and stuff like that. But the point is, the leadership there and the whole system is corrupt right from the ground up. And it's because of terrible liberal leaders like Lori Lightfoot, who doesn't even really want to address the problem most of the time. She talks about other stuff. She calls the president racist. She talks about how she wants everyone to participate in the census. She had this weird rally that we talked about before where she tried to make some fake superhero up to get people to get into the census and mark down where they live and how many people are at their house. And that's just a ploy, of course, for them to get more tax dollars and to act like there's more citizens there. But that's not what we're talking about today. Today, we're talking about another issue. Here's a tweet from Mayor Lightfoot. It says, "I'm standing with 197 other climate mayors to call on Congress to put our nation on a path to a more just and sustainable future." Read our full letter. So right out the gate, I mean, this is the wrong time. I mean, this is just not an issue that this person should be worried about. I mean, it's like you're living in a city that's on fire, like literally burning all over the place. And you're going to worry about, oh, I have a dentist appointment next week, like something that's just really seems like not important. Like it could be important. Like, yeah, you should check your teeth out. Like you want to make sure you don't have a bunch of cavities. A cleaning every 6 months is proper. And that's how I see climate change, actually. It's actually a perfect analogy because, yeah, you could skip your dentist appointment. Like if you're busy, you might have something else going on. Like say, oh, hundreds of people are getting murdered in your city. You might say, hey, we don't need to worry about climate change for a couple weeks. Like let's put that on the table. Let's table that and try to save all these people who are dying. But no, Lori Lightfoot here, she's the type of person that goes to the dentist in the middle of a riot. Like she's the type of person that gets elective surgery in the middle of, say, a earthquake epidemic or some kind of flood or monsoon. Like that's how I would compare this terrible plague of violence in Chicago. Like this is like a natural disaster, or actually it's a man-made disaster coming from criminals and bad leadership and the Democratic Party and Biden supporters. But yeah, I would compare it to say it's like her city it's suffering from other things too. I mean, we have the riots, we have the virus, we have people killing themselves in all these gangs. And Lori Lightfoot wants to go to the dentist. She wants to go and get her teeth cleaned and acts like now's a good time. Now it's important. But really, we're talking about climate change, and obviously we want to save the planet. Like no one's against that. Like everyone thinks the earth is slightly warming too. Like we understand that there's been changes in temperature. Now, whether or not we can help that, how much that is influenced by humans and what the actual situation is specifically, that's up for a little more debate. People might call you a denialist. Like that's the liberal go-to when you question anything, any of their narratives. They act like you're a conspiracy theorist or a denialist. But no, really, we're just people interested in the facts and we want to know what really happened. So if we question you, it's because you've raised a very, very strong kind of assumption, a case, a sort of complaint saying that the world is warming and saying that we all need to drive electric cars and stop flying in airplanes, like something like that. And if that's how extreme you're going to go, like, yeah, I think it's okay to start questioning that a little bit, especially when it's coming from Mayor Lori Lightfoot, like probably one of the worst mayors of all time, one of the worst people of all time, and just a silly person who cannot control her city. So with that said, let's read on to this full letter, I guess. Let's see what they say. It's got Honorable Nancy Pelosi, Mitch McConnell, Kevin McCarthy, Chuck Schumer, typical liberals. I think Mitch McConnell's a Republican, though. Yeah, he's a Republican. He's a bit of a rhino, but they had to get some kind of like bi-party support on this. So this is a 14-page letter. Let's see what it says. We are at a pivotal moment in our nation's history. We began the year committed to protecting human civilization and beating the 10-year clock counting down to massive, irreparable climate disruption. 3 months in, an unimaginable public health emergency of COVID has been accompanied by a profound economic crisis and national reckoning with racial inequity faced by communities of color. These communities have long suffered disproportionately from air pollution and other toxic exposure and are now getting hit hardest by the health and economic impacts of this pandemic. Okay, this is a very, very great sentence. It's pretty funny. I don't mean to laugh. If anyone's feeling bad or suffering, that's totally awful. But the point here is that minorities are getting hit by climate change and the health epidemic worse than everyone else. And I don't know if there's any proof for that. I'm not seeing it here yet. We still have 14 more pages, I guess, but I think this is just a bland assertion and trying to piggyback on some bogus studies. But the point I would say is we're all suffering. I mean, I don't get why they have a monopoly on being victims and they act like, oh, in every situation they suffer more. It's like, well, we're minorities. We're getting hit more by this and that. And it's just total bollocks. It's totally biased. And it's just, in a lot of ways, it's anti-white too. Like, I'm not saying that because I'm trying to defend that or myself. Like, I'm like fine, but it's just really crazy. They're saying that about the virus and the pandemic. They're saying that about the virus and the pollution and climate change. Like everything affects them more. And I don't get how they have this special treatment, how they have this special magic that gets them put above everyone else. But I guess, that makes sense. We're talking about a Lori Lightfoot supported plan here. She's a terrible mayor. And she does that in her city. She has this kind of favoritism. She says the minorities are affected more, and that's why the minorities get treated specially, and that's why the cops can't arrest them. That's why we can't police South Chicago and clean up these messes. So this really does get to the root of the problem. Like they think they're helping, but really they're not. They're pandering to minorities to try to get their votes, to try and stay in power, and it's causing everything to break down, and just people are starting to resent each other. So that's where the racial tension is coming from. It's not because, oh, everyone's racist and everyone's attacking minorities. No, it's because minorities are stepping up saying they're better than everyone else. Black people give themselves special treatment and then they attack us. That's where the racial inequality is coming from. That's where the tension's coming from. It's from the rioters. It's from the Democrats. It's from the left wingers who just plainly just hate white people. We need that kind of approach to continue managing the fallout from COVID, much the same way we focus on equity and fairness in our work to tackle the climate crisis. Climate Mayors, a bipartisan network of 450 U.S. mayors, is playing a leading role to preserve our environment, create good-paying green jobs, invest in clean air, clean water, and clean energy, and uphold the goals of the Paris Agreement at the local level. This commitment remains steadfast even in these times of turbulence and turmoil, and we will continue to prioritize policies and programs that help build for a better, more sustainable tomorrow. So this is more specifics about the climate mayors, one of which is Lori Lightfoot. And I think already they're trying to explain and justify thinking about this issue. And I think they just know this is a table issue. This is not something that's on a pressing junket. Like it's not something we need to talk about right now. I know it's in the background and we should try, but there are just so many bigger issues. We've got the pandemic, we've got riots, we've got, the election, we've got all this strife in the country, we've got people dying in the streets. And that goes for a lot of major cities, a lot of areas are all affected by this across the country. So I think really any mayor that's focused on this, any leader who's going to climate change and trying to get this up is just questionable. I mean, not only are they maybe not intelligent or not good at their job, but I think there's also ulterior motives here. This is the same kind of stuff that other Democrats, other socialists, AOC was pushing last year, and we knew she had ulterior motives. She claimed to be trying to save the world and save the environment, but it really came down to control and also giving people preferences that she approves of. She doesn't like planes, she wants you to take trains. She doesn't want regular cars. You have to have electric cars. Like, it's just about control. And it's another way for them to get more power, more money, more, government influence, agencies controlling every aspect of our lives, energy, air, water. You have to wear a mask. You have to kneel for the anthem. You have to do this. You have to watch these TV shows. This tech is okay. This app is not okay. You can't watch this channel. This channel's bad. This is just about control mostly. And then on top of that, this goes for the whole country, but specifically back to today's subject, Mayor Lightfoot is just in the worst position to be promoting this. Like, I understand if she wants to sign on to a bill and maybe quietly support certain causes, but the fact that she tweeted this, the fact that she is making this such a big issue is just really dumb, like really bad. And it just shows that she doesn't really care about her city. She cares more about politics, about pandering, about pushing liberal propaganda, and not saving the citizens of Chicago. She should be shamed. People should be embarrassed that this is the leader of a city in America. And I think it really needs to stop. We need to vote her out as soon as possible. That about wraps things up. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure you comment your thoughts on everything below. What do you think about Chicago, Lori Lightfoot, and this climate mayor's sort of full letter? Also, hit that like button if you support this channel and enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you're new. Hit the bell for notifications. Check out our second channel called NoBS News. And until next time, have a great day. Hey guys, I just want to take a quick moment to tell you about our new second channel. I've recently updated and revamped the second channel, now called NoBS News. There I'm posting extra videos that I can't fit on this channel. I'm also doing some live streams, I'm playing video games, and doing lots of other cool, fun stuff for you guys. I want to give you guys more content on a separate channel, so you can go and subscribe there, hit that bell for notifications. I'm going to put a link below to NoBS News, or just search NoBS News on YouTube. It's our second channel. It's a lot of fun, and I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. Thanks for your time. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next video.